Hi everyone, and welcome back to our video lecture series on the Renesas RA microcontroller family. In today's session, I'm going to walk you through how to use SPI communication with the FPB RA0E1 board. Let's get started. First, open the E² Studio IDE. Next, click on File, then choose New, and select Renesas C++ project. Then select Renesas RA project. A new dialog box will appear where you can enter a name for your project. After naming your project, click the Next button. From this drop-down menu, select FPBRA0E1 board, then click on Next button. Then again, click on Next button. Now select Executable and No RTOS option. Now select Bare Metal Minimal, then click on Finish button. After that, IDE will take some time to create your project. By default, IDE will open FSP configuration file. Now click on Stack tab, then click on New Stack that in Connectivity, select SPI Stack. Now click on the SPI Stack and open its properties. Inside the Properties window, you can adjust all the settings related to the SPI Stack. For this demonstration, I'll continue with the default settings. By default, the pins for the SPI stack are not configured. So click on the Pins tab, then scroll down to locate the SPI section. Here you'll see the SPI pins configured for channel 1, and I'll be using these pins for this lecture. For this project, I'm also using the EKRA6M5 board as the SPI slave device. We can keep the default SPI settings, but for the operation mode, make sure to select Slave. Also ensure that the bitrate, clock phase, data phase, and bit order match exactly with the SPI master settings. Both devices must share the same configuration for proper communication. Also select pins for SPI stack in RA6M5 device. Next, open the FSP configuration file for the RA0E1 board. Then click on the Generate Project Content button. The IDE will now generate all the source code for the SPI stack. Once the code is generated, expand the src folder and open the hallentry.c file. Now, I will declare two global arrays, one for sending SPI commands and one for receiving them. After that, go to the Project Explorer window, expand Developer Assistance, and then expand the SPI Stack section. From here, drag and drop the SPI callback function into the hallentry.c file. Now, inside the hallentry function, I will start by defining an FSP error t variable to store any error codes. Next, I'll define a BSP IO level t variable. After that, drag and drop the SPI open function call into the hallentry.c file. Then use the assert function to verify that the SPI open call was executed successfully. Next, I'll define a while loop. Inside this loop, drag and drop the SPI write function call. Now, go back to the Developer Assistance section and expand the GPIO stack. From there, drag and drop the GPIO pin read function call into the while loop. For the GPIO pin read function, use SW as the second argument, and use the address of BSP IO level variable as the third argument. This will allow us to read the pin state of the onboard user switch. Based on the switch state, we will update the SPI transmit command accordingly. The user switch on the FPB board is configured with a pull-up resistor, so when the switch is released, the pin state will be high, and in that case we'll send the decimal value 201. When the user switch is pressed, the pin state goes low, and we'll send the decimal value 179. These values are chosen only for demonstration purposes. In the SPI write function, for the psource argument, we will use the datasend array. For the third argument, we'll use the value 1 since we're sending 1 byte. And for the final argument, we'll select SPI bit width 8 bits. After that, we need to provide some delay for SPI transmission to get completed, for that we can use RBSP software delay function. To receive data over SPI, drag and drop the SPI read function call from Developer Assistance into the hallentry.c file. For the second argument, pDestination, we will use the data received array. For the third argument, we'll use 1, since we are receiving 1 byte from the RA6M5 slave device. And for the final argument, we will select SPI bit width 8 bits. After that, use the RBSP software delay function to wait, allowing the SPI reception to complete successfully. Now we can use an if condition to check the received data. If we receive the value 58 from SPI, we will turn on the onboard user LED. To do this, drag and drop the GPIO pinwrite function from Developer Assistance into the hallentry.c file. For second argument, use LED1, and for third argument, use BSPIO level high. Now copy the pinwrite function call and then use LED2 for second argument, and for third argument, use BSPIO level low to turn off second onboard user LED. Now, using an else if condition, we will check the received data byte again. If the value is 68, we will turn on the second onboard user LED and turn off the first onboard user LED. Now, a quick recap of the project's source code. First, I defined the FSP error variable and then the BSPIO level variable. After that, we use the SPI open function call. Inside the while one loop, we start by checking the pin state of the onboard user switch. If the switch is released, we send the decimal value 201. If the switch is pressed, we send the decimal value 179. Then, using if-else conditions, we check the received data byte. Based on the value we receive, we turn the user LED on or off accordingly. Now I'll show you the slave device code, which is quite similar to the master code. Inside the while one loop, we first read data from SPI. Then we read the state of the onboard user switch. Based on the data received from SPI, we turn the onboard user LED on or off. After that, depending on the state of the onboard user switch, we update the data that will be sent back over SPI. Now click on the RA0E1 project in the Project Explorer. Then click on the hammer icon to build your project. In the SPI callback function, we can use the FSP parameter not used function to remove the unused parameter warning during compilation. Once the build is complete, right-click on the project name, select Debug As, and then choose Renesas GDB Hardware Debugging. Now click the Switch button to open the debug perspective. In the debug session, click the Rezoom button and then click the Rezoom button again. Connection diagram. The orange wire is the common ground between both boards. To enable SPI, I pulled the slave select pin low by connecting it to ground. The yellow wire carries the clock signal, and the blue and purple wires are MOSI and MISO respectively. Now, if we press onboard user switch on our RA6M5 board, we can observe LED 1 will be turn off and LED 2 will be turn on. After releasing the button, LED 1 will turn on and LED 2 will turn off. Similarly, when the user switch is pressed on the RA0E1 board, LED 1 on the RA6M5 board will turn off and LED 2 will turn on. When the button is released, LED 2 on the RA6M5 will turn off and LED 1 will turn on.